I want to start first with your arrest last May. Police pepper sprayed you, then arrested you with zip ties. Walk us through what happened and what you were thinking as it all went down.
Yeah, so it was May 31st. It was the third day or night of protests, racial justice protests in Des Moines, Iowa. There is police in riot shields and riot gear, and tear gas was used, pepper spray was used. And in one instance when tear gas was used, I was fleeing the scene, getting away from that with another Des Moines Register reporter. And as we rounded the corner of a business on the other side of the street, I look back and I see an officer charging at me. And so immediately, I didn't want to run away from the officer. Mm-hmm. So I put up my hands and I said, "I'm pressed," repeatedly. And he grabbed me, pepper sprayed me right in the face at close range and said, "That's not what I asked."
You were charged with failure to disperse and interference with official acts, both misdemeanors. Prosecutors moved ahead with the trial despite a lot of criticism from free press advocates. I want to play sound of you on the stand last week explaining that you were just doing your job.
It's important for journalists to be on the scene and document what's happening. We wouldn't know what's going on right now, if no reporters were on the scene. And it's a historical moment. I mean, protests erupted not just across the country, but all over the world. And I felt like I was playing a part of that. I know it's a small city here, but it's important to the community. It's important to know what's going on and to document that. So that's the role I felt like I was playing that day.
It's hard to imagine that you had to explain that. I want to point out a conviction could have landed you a sentence of 30 days in jail. What message do you think prosecutors wanted to send by taking this to trial?
I can't really speak for the prosecutors, but I definitely did see that chilling effect. I couldn't believe that charges were put forth against me. Even if I was a journalist or not, there was just no evidence that I did anything wrong. I was complying with police orders and moving away with tear gas. And, a lot of people are scared, that I was taken to trial. I mean, obviously I was scared and, nervous about what was going to happen. But if we don't have a free press, then we don't have a just democracy. And that's that's a scary feeling. And I could definitely see it felt, throughout this country as the days, leading up to my trial.
Did going through all of this change the way that you look at your job, at your responsibility, at the role that you play?
It just reaffirmed the importance to document history, to tell the stories of, your community. And it reminded me that in this job, you're going to get pushback and you're going to have people really trying to tear you down or tell you you're doing something wrong. And you just have to, keep strong and keep at it and just remember why you're doing this job, why it's important.
The U.S. Press Freedom Tracker found police arrested more than 125 reporters across the country during protests last summer, so you were not alone. About a dozen journalists still facing charges. How do you think that your acquittal is going to impact this trend of arrests? We've talked a little bit about how it is impacting journalists more broadly, but I wonder when you look at how it played out legally, if you think that will have any corollary.
I don't think I'm going to be the last journalist arrested. And hopefully I'm the last journalist that's brought to trial. But, as we saw in Iowa, there are county attorneys out there who might dig their heels in and pursue these charges. So I am hoping, and I do really believe that this case will set precedent for other journalists and also, beyond journalists, anyone who was really arrested unjustly during a protest and in the protests to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank all of you out there.
Thank you as always.
Thanks to at home.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for letting us into your homes during these extraordinary times.